St. Paul. From WCCO Television, the Northwest's leading news station, this is the 10 p.m. report.
Good evening. In tonight's headlines, most Minnesota residents are bracing for what could be a return engagement of last weekend's bone-chilling weather. A former hotel busboy may be facing the death penalty tonight. He was convicted today of setting the fire at the Las Vegas Hilton last February. And budget cutbacks are causing serious problems for students in need of financial aid at the University of Minnesota. But at the top of the newscast tonight, more speculation on just what caused Wednesday's plane crash in Washington, D.C.
Ice and on the fuselage and wings just may have been the undoing of Air Florida Flight 90 today. CBS News obtained videotape of the doomed plane just 15 minutes before it crashed into the 14th Street Bridge. A Braniff pilot said he saw ice on the plane's surface. And one official today confirmed that the plane sat on a snowy runway for 40 minutes before takeoff. These scenes will be enlarged and used by investigators.
The aircraft was de-iced 2 times, I believe, and then went out into the departure line. Aircraft were lined up and took off before and after it, and I think any speculation about ice being the cause is just that. It's speculation at this point.
Another possible cause and source of speculation centers on the engine design in the Boeing 737. The engines hang down so low, some pilots call them vacuum cleaners. Investigators say it's possible the engine sucked snow or other debris from the runway as the plane tried to take off. The cause of the crash won't be known, of course, until the flight three-quarters are pulled from the plane's tail section, but for now, they remain submerged below the icy waters of the Potomac River, along with the bodies of 65 remaining victims. 8 more bodies were pulled out today, along with bits of shoes and other personal belongings. Authorities are combing through everything they find, searching for clues to the precise cause of the accident. Sub-zero temperatures and huge chunks of ice continue to hamper the search efforts. Divers must move slowly to avoid injuring themselves and causing further damage to the plane's wreckage and the clues locked inside. One would imagine if anywhere ice on the wings of planes were a problem, it would certainly be in Minnesota.
Well, that's exactly what Tom Hendrick had in mind today when he went out to Twin Cities International this afternoon to find out just how our aviation people handle the problem.
The airplane, like any other sophisticated machine, is equal only to the sum of its many parts, all of which are necessary, all of which are vulnerable to wear and tear and the elements. Too much slush on the runway can slow it down. Too much ice on the wings can affect the aerodynamics, crippling its lift, making its flight impossible. This is one solution, and ground crews here are so well respected for their ability to keep runways safe, their techniques are studied and copied at other airports. This is another solution. Hundreds of planes here at Twin Cities International are de-iced every winter with a combination of water and isopropyl alcohol. The combination contains more alcohol the colder it gets. And in fact, officials say the colder it gets, the safer it is, and less is the need for de-icing. But that timing is critical when it is needed.
We usually try to de-ice it just when it's ready to leave. In fact, we even had them come back to the gate because they had to hold at the end of the runway and stuff because it starts to build up. It's really, really serious when it's around 30 to 32 degrees and the snow is wet and heavy. Needless to say, this type of weather, it's not a problem. The snow is light and fluffy and blows right off.
So the colder, the better.
Well, yeah, really it is.
The decision to fly is the pilot's, not the control towers, and not the airline, even though each pilot-ordered delay may cost it thousands of dollars.
We're out here at least 40 minutes before prior departure, and the walk-around is performed by the first officer and or the skipper, whoever elects to do it, and if there's any question, there's a meeting of the minds, and we go through the de-icing procedure all over again if there's any question about the satisfactory accomplishment of it. There's never a compromise as far as safety is concerned. There is no pressure. If I say we go, we go. If I say we stay, we stay. It's that basic.
Human and mechanical error is, of course, always a possibility. Both are suspected in the Air Florida tragedy because of the wintry conditions. While speculation continues, at Twin Cities International, the work continues to ensure that weather is not a factor here. I'm Tom Hendrick, WCCO Television News, the Twin Cities.
Well, tonight's bad weather caused problems for a small plane trying to land at the ANOKA County Airport. The plane, owned by Mid-Continent Airlines, was inbound from Detroit. When it landed, the left brake line locked, veering the aircraft sharply to the left, and then pitched it into a nearby snowdrift. 2 people were in the plane at the time, but both walked away unharmed. The plane did sustain, however, damage to the front end. The prosecution has
retrieved by the crane. We don't know what would happen to the bodies. That determination will be made tomorrow morning. If there are no bodies, the tail section will be brought up tomorrow.
Until those 2 recorders are found and the data they contain analyzed, conclusions as to what caused the crash of Air Florida Flight 90 will continue to proceed slowly. Carl Rochelle, ABC News, at the National Transportation Safety Board meeting.